The markets are closed, but the business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Raine Musñgi. Catch up with us on Newsfeed Business. An air of resilience enveloped Asian markets on Thursday as shares tracked gains on Wall Street. That followed a volatile trading session marked by escalating concerns over a potential global trade war. Japan's Nikkei and South Korea's benchmark Kospi traded up about 0.3%. Hong Kong's benchmark, the Hang Seng, opened sideways higher, while China's Shanghai Composite Index also dipped less than 1%. Traders tell Reuters this resilience or bounce-back ability can partly be explained by ample market liquidity and lower dollar and U.S. Treasury yields. It's a combination seen to loosen U.S. and global financial conditions and spur risk-taking activity across markets. Meanwhile, European markets edge toward a positive open that's ahead of earnings reports and the Bank of England rate decision. Chicago Federal Reserve President Austin Goolsbee warned on Wednesday that ignoring the potential inflationary impact of tariffs would be a mistake, citing the COVID-19 pandemic experience where supply chain disruptions drove up inflation. In remarks prepared for delivery to the regional Fed Bank's annual Auto Symposium in Detroit, Goolsbee said the U.S. economy is strong, the labor market is possibly at full employment, and inflation has come down and is approaching the Fed's 2% goal. Boston Fed President Susan Collins, also an FOMC voter, told CNBC she and her staff are studying the potential impact of tariffs, and she noted the unusual nature of the sweeping tariffs Trump has proposed. Other Fed officials, such as Philadelphia President Patrick Harker and Atlanta Fed's Raphael Bostic, also said they are concerned about potential inflationary effects. He said they also will be watching for longer-term impacts. Fed Chair Jerome Powell deflected multiple questions about tariffs at his post-meeting news conference last week, saying it's too early to make judgments about fiscal policy. All three major stock indices in the U.S. closed higher Wednesday, rebounding as investors weighed the prospect of future interest rate cuts from the U.S. Federal Reserve. China has accused the United States of making unfounded and false allegations about its role in the fentanyl trade to justify tariffs on Chinese products. The BBC reports the complaint was lodged with the World Trade Organization one day after U.S. President Donald Trump raised border taxes on Chinese goods by 10%, a measure he said was intended to address an influx of illegal drugs. In the filing, China said the measures were discriminatory and protectionist and violated world trade rules. Trump has said tariffs will encourage firms to make their products in the U.S., expressing repeated concern about the size of the trade deficit. Europe must be united to face potential tariff negotiations with the U.S. That's coming from ECB policymaker Mario Centeno, who told Reuters on Wednesday after U.S. President Donald Trump repeatedly complained about the U.S. trade deficit with a 27-country EU and threatened to impose tariffs on European goods. Centeno said this would be another challenge for the European economy and that the EU had to really think about what else could be done to promote its growth.
Europe must be united and face this negotiation, let me put it like that, in a very clear and single way. We don't see this as a good news for the economy. If these are not good news for the economy, given that Europe faces today quite strong challenges to growth, we have to really think about what else can we do to promote growth in Europe. Regions and countries, that means that the global economy. Overall, this is something that we don't need, that the goals that we want to achieve politically can be achieved via other instruments. Economically, tariffs are not a good idea for anyone.
The United Nations Special Rapporteur, Francesca Albanese, said U.S. President Trump's statements regarding Palestinians from the Gaza Strip were, quote, inciting to commit forced displacement, unquote. On Tuesday, Trump said he will take control of the Gaza Strip, be responsible for dismantling bombs and weapons in the area, resettle the Palestinians elsewhere, and then the U.S. will develop it economically. So far, there has been no indication where the 2.3 million residents wish to go. The Fourth Geneva Convention of the 1949 prohibits the forcible transfer or deportation of protected persons in occupied territory.
Utter nonsense is nonsense. And it's unlawful. What he proposes, people talk of ethnic cleansing. No, it's worse. It's worse. It's forced displacement. Is inciting to commit forced displacement, which is an international crime. Forced displacement and further dispossession, and in the context of a genocide, it will strengthen the complicity in the crimes that Israel has been committing over the past 15 months and before. It's unlawful, immoral, and irresponsible. It's completely irresponsible because it will make the regional crisis even worse. And I truly hope that people will stay calm, will not panic, and will remember that the international community is made of 193 states. And this is the time to give the US what it has been looking for: isolation. Of course, economic development must happen. Of course, cooperation is necessary, but not at the expense of fundamental rights and freedoms, which is what Israel, the United States, more openly than ever, and others seems to expect that the Palestinians will accept. Like all indigenous people in the world, the Palestinian will never surrender. Let me be hopeful, so to close on a positive note. Again, as I say, I know that this is going to generate panic across the world because it bears huge consequences. We live in a world where the United States are ingrained in our politics, in our lifestyle, in everything we do, in our economies. So this influence is hugely felt, and no one alone will be able to stand against the United States. I want to hope that the American people, first and foremost, come back to senses and oppose this system from within.
The United States clarified comments from President Donald Trump on the proposed U.S. takeover of the Gaza enclave. Speaking at a press conference in Guatemala City, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Wednesday, Trump's was a unique offer to step in and clear debris and destruction in Gaza, adding that people will have to live somewhere while it is rebuilt. He said it was not meant as a hostile move and that details still needed to be worked out.
It's an enormous undertaking. And the only thing President Trump has done very generously, in my view, is offer the United States willingness to step in, clear the debris, clean the place up from all the destruction that's on the ground, clean it up of all these unexploded munitions. And in the meantime, the people living there will not be able, the people who call that home will not be able to live there while you have crews coming in and removing debris, while you have munitions being removed, etc. That's the offer that he's made. It's actually, he made a similar, obviously we didn't have a conflict at the time, but when in his first term, he offered a $50 billion plan to help Palestinians, which was rejected by the PA and obviously others. So in the interim, obviously, people are going to have to live somewhere while you're rebuilding it.
Well, President Trump's plan for the United States to take over Gaza has upset members of the U.S. Arab American community. U.S. Arab American and Muslim leaders, including some who supported Trump in the 2024 election, criticized the president's proposal for the U.S. to take over Gaza and resettle Palestinians, But many of them said they still believe he was the best option for lasting peace in the region. The MENA Chamber of Commerce said Trump had thanked Arab and Muslim Americans for their support during his victory speech, and many Republican offices had stepped up their outreach to the community, heartened by the shift in support for Trump. The group also points out Trump's proposal for the U.S. to take over Gaza had been firmly rejected during his first term in office and would not be supported by Arab countries, which had already signaled their willingness to rebuild Gaza. But other Arab American community leaders fear President Trump may take action despite any lack of support from Arab countries.
We have to believe it, and we have to be ready for it. You know, we don't want to just say that it's words and it's words. We've seen the Democratic Party do horrible things and allow Israel to do horrible things. And so, you know, from somebody like Trump, we should only expect worse things.
I think the international community needs to step up. South Africa led the way in filing, the charges in the international court. Now is the time for, the world to step up for Palestine, especially those who claim that they believe in a judicial process and believe in the international courts.
We were looking to President Trump as someone who is genuinely intent on achieving long-lasting peace in the Middle East. That's what he committed to during his campaign. He signed the peace plaques when he was hosted in Dearborn. He made a statement to that effect that he is committed to achieving long-lasting peace in the Middle East. And to us as a community and within the MENA region, there is no pathway to peace without ensuring that the Palestinians have self-determination and have a sovereign state of their own.
The White House says billionaire Elon Musk will excuse himself from any conflicts of interest between his various business interests and his efforts to cut costs for the federal government. The White House press secretary also confirmed what the U.S. Treasury said on Tuesday, that Elon Musk's government efficiency team has read-only access to its payment system codes. A Treasury official told a Democratic senator the review of system codes was being undertaken to, quote, maximize payment integrity for agencies and the public.
DOGE engineers with access to Treasury systems. Can you clarify, do the DOGE engineers have read-only access in these systems, so they're not allowed to write new code?
No.
They're not, okay.
No. The president was already asked and answered this question this week, and he said if Elon Musk comes across a conflict of interest with the contracts and the funding that DOGE is overseeing, then Elon will excuse himself from those contracts. And he has, again, abided by all applicable laws.
On the lighter side, just as football fans are getting ready for the 2025 Super Bowl face-off between the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles in New Orleans this Sunday, brands are hoping to score big with their commercials that cost $8 million for every 30-second spot. That includes social media chatter in the weeks leading up to the game, often sparked by teaser releases. Many people watching the game and the ads in real time. The spots on Fox, which will broadcast the game, sold out in November. Brands such as Astis Donut doubled down on celebrities and humor.
We're doing a Dunkin' Donuts commercial, right?
Right.
I'm just trying to find the character. I think I found a way in. You're from Boston. I'm from Boston. Dunkin' is Boston. Boston is Paul Revere. One if by land, two if by sea. The redcoats are coming.
You're an artist, and I know what that's like, but how long is it going to take for the bean method?
I mean, I'll be ready in like 3 hours.
You should have paid for Matt.
I told you that.
But an analyst says a chip commercial stood out because, in addition to pairing celebrity and humor, it also stayed true to the brand.
We're out of Pringles.
Just blow in the can. Do it.
I'd like to thank our fans.
I'm just gonna go to the store.
I think you got mine.
I like it.
An Adweek executive points out, though, brands are not yet ready for AI-generated content. More than 120 million viewers are expected to watch the Super Bowl this Sunday when it airs on television and the free live stream on Tubi.
Listen, $8 million is a lot of money for a corporation, but there is no better moment to get your brand messaging or awareness out there. This is one of the few moments left where people tune in. It's appointment television viewing. The audience is huge and it's growing. It's also a moment where people are actually excited to watch the commercials. They're not leaving the room. They're not fast forwarding through them. So you really have a captive audience, and a huge audience at that. What's really special about Super Bowl ads is it doesn't just end with the 30 seconds or the 60 seconds on television. People are talking about them. There's a lot of lead up. There are teasers. Many of the ads are released weeks in advance. So you get a lot of this sort of organic chatter. You often see Super Bowl ads trend on social media. So there's sort of this halo effect. You also know that more people are watching this in real time than at any other event. So if you're a new brand or you're a known brand that's releasing a new product, it's a really great moment for buzz. So in addition to having this moment on the greatest advertising stage of the entire year, it's a really interesting moment for CMOs to prove themselves. This is the one moment of the year where you can really go all out, go big, spend all of your budget. And we know that the tenure of CMOs at brands is decreasing year over year. So often these leaders have one moment to say, this is what I can do for the brand. This is how I can leave my mark.
Business and economy news from around the country in a moment. Newsfeed Business will be back. Stay with us on BNC.
Get to the latest stories.
The Philippines bags a historic bronze at the 2025 Asia-Pacific Women's Lacrosse Championship.
The updates.
Table tennis power duo siblings brought home medals from the WTT Youth Contender.
The scores and what to celebrate in the world of sports.
I'm Anton Rojas.
And I'm Erica Christensen.
On the scorecard.
Where sports is our business.
And business is our sport.
Only here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. At BNC, 12 noon doesn't mean break. We're always ready to give you the latest news, even at noon.
And those are the news this hour. Here at home, the Commission on Elections assures the Public Attorney's Office files new complaints. NGCP assures the public its Chinese investors are no threat.
Join Maya Rodriguez, delivering fresh news for you. Newsfeed at noon.
Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Hello and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Raine Musñgi. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey.
We empower.
This country deserves a real choice in the next election.
We motivate.
Do not invest money that you're not able to afford to lose.
Changes that are vital.
We're monitoring the sale of these products online.
Follow the Money with Raine Musñgi.
Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Always on top.
This Valentine's Day, let's celebrate love in all its beautiful forms. Whether it's romance, friendship, or family, love makes every moment special. From our hearts to yours, happy Valentine's Day.
President Bongbong Marcos is holding a press conference. We bring you there live.
They will always find the Philippine presence. No matter what they do, kahit na, yun na nga, kahit na banggain na yung barko natin, kahit na mag-water cannon sila, mag-laser sila, kahit kung ano pang gawin na mag-block sila, laging nandyan ang Pilipinas. We will always be there protecting our territory. We will always be there making sure our fishermen are able to exercise their sovereign rights. Nandyan lagi. That's their mission. And if their presence helps to, kasi kung minsan, napapaalis nga nila kahit yung malalaking barko, then better. Then then they will have achieved what they are supposed to do while they're patrolling our waters.
Sir, last na lang from me. Sir, last week you said you had a deal with China.
nagbigay kayo ng kondisyon sa China na you will pull out the typhoon missile if and when China will stop its aggression. Nag-respond na po ba ang China about it?
No.
Or-
No. I didn't expect them to either. Because, no, I didn't expect them to. And they haven't responded specifically. They've responded in general terms, saying that what they do is a lawful exercise in law enforcement and all that. But no, nothing specific on the missiles, nothing specific about the reduction of tension, the reduction of the aggressive moves, and nothing like that. Wala kaming napag-usapan na ganun.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Alexis Romero, Philippine Star.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. No?
Good
Let me just go back to one of our interviews during one of your previous US visits sa Honolulu, Hawaii, when asked about the looming impeachment supposedly that time, no, against Vice President Sara Duterte, no. When asked, no, you told reporters, you told us, binabantayan namin ng mabuti. This was in Honolulu, Mr. President. Binabantayan namin ng mabuti because we don't want her to be impeached. She does not deserve to be impeached, so we will make sure that this is something we will pay very close attention to. So that time, apparently, you do not want her impeached. Given these recent developments, do you hold that stance still, or your position has changed?
It doesn't matter what I think. It will have to go to the procedure. It will go to trial, and we will have senator judges, and they will hear the case. The prosecutors will come from the House. There will be a defense panel, and it will be a trial. It doesn't matter what I think at this point. That was my opinion. That's my opinion when I was asked that. None of this had happened yet. But I have to keep reminding you, the executive wala kaming formal role in the entire impeachment process. The executive has no formal role. If ever there's an informal role, makausap ko yung speaker, makausap ko yung congressman, makausap ko yung senador, si SP, makausap ko. But that's about it. Pero they will decide how they will proceed. I don't think you can expect the congressman or the senator or the SP or the speaker to come to me. What do you want us to do? They know what they have their own way of doing things, and that's what they will implement. So siguro the most that a president can do, or any part of the department of the executive can do, is moral suasion. Wag na lang sana. Wala, that didn't work. Natuloy pa rin. So we follow the process.
Salamat po.
Yeah.
Raquel Bayan, Radyo Pilipinas.
Hello, sir. Sir, I know co-equal branch po natin dito po, sir. I know co-equal branch po natin, sir, yung Senate. But are you planning, sir, to personally ask the Senate kung paano po nila i-handle yung impeachment para po tayo sa executive makapag-address?
Issue ng paano nila
kung paano po nila i-handle once na ma-transmit na po sa kanilang impeachment para lang po tayo sa executive, malaman rin po natin kung paano yung gagawin nating adjustment doon sa possible effect po sa bansa nito.
Doon sa
possible effect po ng impeachment sa bansa.
It's not up, again, you should ask, now at least at this point it's in the Senate. You'll have to ask that from the Senate. If you're going to ask about the prosecution's case, I don't know if you'll get an answer right now because we've only just started, but they're the ones that you should be asking. From this point on, I'm just a very interested observer. But again, I don't appear, I will not be part of it. There will be no representation from the executive. Why should there be? So, wala talagang we leave it to Congress, now specifically the Senate, to exercise their own wisdom.
Eden Santos, Net 25.
Mr. President, sabi niyo po ang impeachment ay hindi makapagdudulot ng kabutihan sa buhay ng kahit isang Pilipino. Nung nag-ask po ng advice sa inyo si Congressman Sandro Marcos, as a father and as a father of this nation, hindi niyo po ba naisip, na-advisean siya na gawin kanyang duty para sa kapakanan at interest ng mas nakararaming mga Pilipino at yung kung ano po yung standing niyo na sana ay wag matuloy yung impeachment?
The House is a collegial body. They decide as one. And that was what the House decided. He is a member of the House of Representatives. So, as a member of the House of Representatives, he has to do his duty. Whatever his opinions might be, he must do his duty. Even if he's hesitant, and all this applies to not only my son, it applies to all the congressmen. Once na-file na yung impeachment complaint, gawin nyo na yung trabaho ninyo. Wala na silang choice. Yun ang tinutukoy ko, yung una kong statement tungkol dito. The Senate has no choice, the House has no choice. That's exactly what the situation is. Once the second that the complaint were filed.
Ang government po ba ay ready kung ano man po yung maging effect implication nung sakaling matuloy po yung impeachment trial sa Senado? If in case po na may effect, kasi magtatrabaho po sila, baka maapektuhan yung kanila.
Antayin natin kung ano yung gagawin nila. Because I don't know, wala tayong timetable, wala tayong paano yung pag-i-conduct, what are the rules that will be followed, etc. Antayin natin. It is up to them how they decide to have their trial. When they have their trial, what are the rules for the trial, how they will conduct it, etc., etc. So, who will be the presiding judge? If we have a senator judge, who will be the presiding? All of that.
Last na lang po, wala po bang plano ang ating Pangulo na pakiusapan po sila? Kayo po, wala po ba kayong plano bilang Pangulo ng ating bansa para pakiusapan mo sila na huwag nang ituloy yung impeachment dahil baka abala nga naman po sa trabaho ng ating gobyerno at syempre sa buhay at pamumuhay ng ating mga kababayan?
The Senate has no choice. The House has no choice. They have to do this now. Once the impeachment complaint was filed, tumakbo na ang proseso. At kung hindi nila ipatakbo yung proseso, then they are delinquent in their duties. That's why they just have. That's what I meant. The House has no choice. They have to proceed with the impeachment complaint. The Senate now has no choice. They have to try the impeachment complaint. So making pakiusap, doing that, it won't change anything. It won't change anything. They still have to have a trial.
Chona Yu, in People's Journal.
Sir, natapos na yung session kahapon ng Congress. Magpapatawag po ba kayo ng special session para so that the Senate can proceed with the impeachment trial?
If the senators ask for it, yes. Again, sila ang magde-decide. Hindi kami ang nagde-decide dito. If the Senate President calls me up on the telephone, the senators, kinausap ko yung mga senator kung pwede ba mag-special session, sure, gagawin ko. Pero kung wala silang request na ganun, ibig sabihin, may iba pa silang ginagawa. They're not yet ready.
Wala pang request ngayon, sir.
How?
Wala pang request as we speak.
Naman, they just got it yesterday.
Thank you, sir.
No.
Ann Soberano, Bombo Radyo.
Sir, good afternoon. Just want to get your thoughts lang, sir. May kumakalat kasing mga issue din na may mga kapalit na ayuda po. Yung mga pumirma pong mga congressman sa impeachment ay binigyan po daw ng ayuda. Your thoughts on this? Baka sakali, sir, na diversionary tactics or they wanted to undermine yung credibility po ng House?
They're undermining the process. By saying that all this, that, yeah, I've heard also the assertion that may ganon. I don't think so. Overwhelming ang boto ang pumirma. At yung ano ba yung pumirma? 215. Ang pagkaintindi ko, that meron pang mga congressman na gusto sanang pumirma pero out of town. So hindi sila makapunta para pumirma. In fact, nagtatanong ang iba kung pwede e-signature. Mukhang hindi pwede kasi kailangan ka sa harap ng section at saka isusumpa at saka naka-notarize. So, but I don't think that kind of two-thirds of the Senate, 306 sila, they got 215. So just a little bit over two-thirds, hindi mo makukuha sa ganong klaseng sistema yan. I know, I've been in Congress. I don't think that way of operating would have worked. Certainly not to the extent that you get 215 signatures.
Ana Badjo, GMA News Online.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, may we just get your thoughts on the statement of Representative Paulo Duterte that the impeachment was just an abuse of power and political persecution?
What else would he say? Alam mo naman sabihin niya, tama lahat yan. Dapat talaga siya. It's nothing surprising. We've heard these statements from Congressman Pulong before. I just see his reaction to that, but by Pulong Duterte about Sara Duterte, so not exactly surprising. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Sir, we have Richmond Quevedo from Tribune.
Sir, may I ask you, do you agree that somehow your opinions or statements has influenced certain members of Congress? Like somehow, sir, parang reverse psychology, like sending a kind of signal?
Well, it did because none of, like I said, wala naman sa yung sasabi kong kaalyado namin sa House ang nag-file ng impeachment. Kasi yan ang pakiusap ko sa kanila, wag na kayo mag-file ng impeachment. So hindi sila nag-file ng impeachment. Ang nag-file ng impeachment, ibang grupo. Hindi mo masasabi yung grupo yung kaalyado ko. So they just did what they felt was needed to be done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, Heidi Sampang, DZAS.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I know nag-i-start pa lang naman po ito, pero gaano po kaya tayo kahanda sa economic impact po ng impeachment trial at posible po kasi itong maka-slow down sa atin pong momentum?
I doubt it very much. Hindi naman siguro. Wala akong nakikita magiging effect na gano'n. Basta't patuloy yung ang ating pinaplano, ating mga strategy tungkol sa investment, tungkol sa mga bagong structural changes na lagi kong pinag-uusapan. But yun lang naman ang tinitignan ng investor. So I don't think it will have any effect.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Julie Aurelio, Inquirer.
Good afternoon, sir. If I may recall your statement last year, prior to the filing of the impeachment complaints, you said that you didn't want impeachment complaints to be filed because it would only distract legislators from doing their jobs. It will not serve or benefit any Filipino. Given that, what's your guidance to Congress so that they won't be?
I do not give guidance to Congress.
But how do you solve the problem of not distracting them from their job?
Again, you give me far too much credit that I can tell congressmen to do this and to do that. I cannot. I do not give guidance to Congress. We are independent of each other. Of course, we talk to each other about all kinds of things. But hindi ko kaya sasabihin, gawin mo ito, gawin mo yan, gawin. Hindi ko kayang gawin yun. And I don't even attempt to do that. So let's be very clear there. Sure, when I'm talking to them, they ask my opinion. I give them my opinion. But it's up to them to take it or not. You cannot call it guidance.
But are you not afraid that it might derail your effort or it might derail priority measures in Congress because
Because
the Senate will be busy with the impeachment. So
Slowly, please. I cannot understand.
are you not afraid that you were afraid before that the impeachment process might derail or might sidetrack the priority measures of your administration, given that this is already happening? Are you not fearful or afraid that it might actually come to pass? Your fears from before.
What did we talk about 80% of the time today? Impeachment. It happened already. It's happening already. Imbis na pag-usapan natin ang agrarian reform, imbis na pag-usapan natin ang climate change, we're talking about impeachment. So what you're asking is, I'm not afraid it's about to happen. It's happened. Look at today. Today, we're talking about impeachment the whole time.
Last na lang, sir. When you gave those, when you uttered those words that you're not in favor of impeaching the vice president, that happened when it was not yet filed. You made that clear, very, very clear. And yet, you did say that it is Congress's constitutional duty to let the process go, to let the impeachment process proceed as constitutionally mandated. However, the outcome is actually contrary to what you actually want, which is not to impeach the vice president.
No, where is the contrary? Where is it contrary to what I said?
Because you don't. Your thoughts was you do not want the vice president to be impeached. That's what you said before.
Oh, so that's
given
my
given that. Do you feel that don't you have any ill feelings towards congressmen who led to the transmittal of the impeachment articles to the Senate?
The congressmen with who I'll just repeat it again. Lahat ng natatawag kong kaalyado ko sa House of Representatives, wala sa kanila ang nag-file.
But they signed it, sir.
Huh?
But they signed it.
Because it's already there. Nandyan eh. Ano pang gagawin nila? And there was a very clearly a large bloc in Congress, at least 215, who wanted to sign the impeachment. They did not file a case because I asked them not to. Paikot-ikot na tayo. I'm sorry?
Mr. President, did you not ask them not to sign the impeachment complaint? Since sabi niyo po na napakiusapan niyo sila.
Nobody filed. None of the members of the parties that we are in alliance with filed an impeachment complaint.
Yes po, sabi niyo napakiusapan niyo sila na wag mag-file, kaya wala po nag-file na kaalyado ninyo. Hindi niyo rin po ba sila napakiusapan na wag mag-sign dun sa itinransmit sa Senado
Ay,
para
wala
sa
na akong pakialam doon. Tapos na, it's already in the House. That's the House decision. Yung congressman ang magde-decide kung ano yung gagawin niya. Dahil pananagutan nga ng House of Representatives yan. You keep, there's this constant implication that I am somehow giving instructions and making utos do this and do that and do that. That's not the case at all. That's not how it works. Not at all. Not at all.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
All right? Okay na tayo. Oh, sige.
Thank you.
Okay, see you next month.
And that was President Bongbong Marcos with the Malacanang press corps. Marcos denied any involvement in the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte. He stressed that he had no hand in the impeachment case filed against her, but that his son, Ilocos Representative Sandro Marcos, told him beforehand about the developments in the case. The chief executive said he did not know Congressman Sandro would be the first to sign the complaint. Marcos also pointed out that none of his allies in Congress filed that impeachment complaint against Duterte. He said once they were filed, the House and Senate have no choice but to follow their constitutional mandate, follow procedure, process the complaint, and act on it. He does not consider the House's move as defiance, saying Congress is an independent branch and he does not provide guidance to the body. Marcos notes the executive cannot have any hand in the impeachment. The most the executive can do is moral suasion, but it did not work, and that from now on, he is only an interested observer. He earlier discouraged the filing of the impeachment case against Sara Duterte, saying that the case will not do any Filipino any good. The Senate President, Francis Escudero, said today that they will deal with the impeachment complaint and trial on June 2 after the campaign period. That's the latest from Malacanang. We'll bring you details of that story and more in the coming hours. I'm Raine Musñgi. Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.